Hello, Michael. Nice to have you on that podcast today. I will let you introduce yourself, and after we can.
Thank you, Julian. Nice to be here with you all. My name is Mikael Lindberg. I'm the founder of the AI agency GoPartnering. We build the bridge between business needs and AI solutions, bringing you the integration and strategy to get in line with the future of AI and the human AI workforce.
Great. Thank you for the short introduction. Very great to have you today on that podcast. To introduce myself quickly, I'm the co-founder and CEO of SalesMind. We found that outbound B2B is one of the most effective way to do prospecting, but even with the traditional tool, we're spending way too much manual work on that task, and it makes them not efficient enough for us. We figured out that SalesMind would actually bring AI into the game and leave the high value task into the human while the AI do all the groundwork.
All right. What do we have today? Is Nora with us today?
Yes, Nora is with us today. She will join in a minute, and then we'll have a few questions from her. As you will see, Nora is our AI host in the podcast. We'll interact with her question that we get from the audience previously. Yeah, let's get started.
Mike, considering the rapid integration of AI in sectors like healthcare, could you share a specific instance from 2024 where AI significantly transformed operational efficiency?
Thank you for that question, Nora. That's a really interesting question because a lot has happened. Let's look at the explosion of AI usage, up 65% since the last year, according to McKinsey. In terms of 2024 and specifically healthcare, we have the Mayo Clinic, and they are a leader in medical innovation, and they have really been integrating AI-driven diagnostic tools across various departments. And what happened is the speed and the accuracy of the diagnosis has been really improving over time. By leveraging AI algorithms, they've been actually able to reduce the average diagnosis time by 30%. And if business 30% is quite a big deal. As an instance, if you talk about AI in radiology, AI enables a quicker processing of image testing, which previously took hours, now being completed in substantially less time. And then if you talk about the technology specifically, so when you deploy an AI tool such as they have done on Mayo Clinic, that includes machine learning models that needs to learn from many thousands of patients' records to then identify the patterns that might even elude human doctors. And that is why these AI models really has played a significant part in terms of existing hospitals, AI systems, and ensuring the seamless operation and immediate application in the clinical settings. And if we talk about what is the benefit on the other side, so to speak, we talk about the patient. So what is the benefits for the patient? The reduction in diagnosis time means that everybody gets an answer really quickly for almost any type of condition, critical or non-critical, which is really essential when it comes to serious illnesses. Short diagnosis time is really helping improve the hospital efficiency. And that allows more patients to be seen and reduced the strain on the healthcare resources. And naturally, we are talking seriously about AI here. There are always challenges and how to overcome them. By integrating AI in existing systems, it did present challenges. We talk about data privacy. We talk about overcoming resistance in terms of tradition and what we're using today. And specifically in Mayo Clinic, they did this by conducting a comprehensive staff training and ensuring strict compliance with the regulations in terms of healthcare and patient data. And this is actually what we do in GoPartnering. We need to understand that we are building a human AI workforce, not an AI workforce. We have to combine together and unite the forces, and that is how we succeed. What about the future then? On this success, Mayo Clinic plans to expand the use of AI in diagnostics and to also other complex areas such as genetic disorders, predictive analytics, and preventive healthcare. And of course, for me, that sounds really, really good. And this expansion is anticipated to not only further decrease diagnosis time, but also enhance predictive care, potentially revolutionizing preventive health strategies.
All right, very good. I think that the answers that I was looking for. Very interesting case about Mayo Clinic. How did you get in touch with them for the first time?
I wasn't personally getting in touch with Mayo Clinic, and this is done by another agency, but I did follow the study and the case studies and really follow the explosion of the use of AI, but also the challenges in terms of, as I mentioned, privacy and integrity, and also the trust in the technology. By doing these case studies, following these real world examples, we really learn what is needed for a business and a business executives to actually implement and adopt AI into the business today.
Got it. Very insightful. Let me add Nora into the podcast here, and we'll have the second question.
Yeah.
Julian, can you elaborate on Agoda's implementation of AI in customer success and the measurable outcomes achieved in 2024?
Yes, sure. A while ago, I got in touch with the chief commercial officer at Agoda, and one of the first questions that I had in mind for them was, how do they leverage AI into their operation? And I really thought those big conglomerate will be the one who have the most power and who will be the fastest to actually implement all the AI technologies that could enhance the life of their employees, their collaborators, and their clients. However, what I heard from that person at Agoda really surprised me. Is even itself, it sounded a little bit sad about the answer he gave me that time. It was like, yeah, we haven't really implemented that. The only use case we found was customer support were spending dozens of minutes to understand of the history of the previous client that they had on support. And they had to go over all the chat to understand what's going on, where does the client already provide support or not, and what is remaining to do with that client. Eventually, what they did is they now get the entire history of transcript of chat and support exchange they have with the client, and eventually they show them that by AI to make the time for the operator to actually take less than a minute to understand where we are and where we need to go with the actual client. From what I understood, it was getting from dozens of minutes to understand the case of every single client for every single case to dozens of seconds for every single client. Because the AI is actually able to get the entire script and transcript in one single sentence or few sentences if the case is complex. The things that I've been able to achieve was to make their customer support team having much faster reply time, and time to close the issue were divided by two as well by having those systems. I've been really surprising, however, to me is that it is the only use case that have been used and implemented into their operation. Because at my level, I can see how it could be implemented in many different ways, but apparently there is concern about having the AI facing the customer at that moment from those big corporates.
All right. Good insights. And once again, this proves the significance of what I call the human AI workforce, the combination, how we actually can facilitate and leverage from each other. So thank you for that, Julian. All right. Do we have another question from Nora today?
I think we have plenty. No worry. Let me bring her back.
Mike, in terms of operational efficiency, what are the most impressive statistics you've observed from companies adopting AI technologies in 2024?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. Thank you, Nora. Let's talk about the biggest interest in metrics in 2024. I would probably mention Google. Google actually, as you might know, Google is quite a big company. They do have quite large data centers, and that means they need cooling efficiency. So, what is actually cooling efficiency? If you have a large center of computers running, they produce a lot of heat. And naturally, they need to actually get something really done to control this. And since Google is quite in the forefront of AI, they've been trying to use this to optimize the data centers they have around the world. And the primary goal, reduce energy consumption and specifically focusing on the cooling systems. What are crucial then in maintaining these operational temperatures of computing equipment is definitely important, because if the temperature rises, then the equipment doesn't work well and things start to break down slowly. So what did they do? They implemented an AI-based control system designed to manage data center cooling efficiently. We know that similar systems have existing before. However, the importance of AI makes them even more efficient and more direct and more exact. By using machine learning algorithms to predict the temperature fluctuations and then adjusting accordingly the cooling. The AI is basically used to analyze data from numerous sensors, which of course includes temperatures, weather conditions, cooling capacities, and they really enhance the efficiency of the current cooling systems. And how much, you might ask, because that was the question. In this case, this specific implementation led to a 20% reduction in energy usage for the cooling of entire Google data centers. And if you understand the capacity of Google's data centers, you understand that 20% in energy usage is quite significant. That is like speaking about what Bitcoin's blockchain takes today, basically. So yeah, really, really interesting. And of course, this improvement does contribute significantly to reduce overall environmental impact, aligning with sustainability goals. Naturally, as always, I do mention challenges and solutions. By integrating AI in existing infrastructure, it was a challenge. You have to understand that systems need to be able to speak to each other. The system compatibility, as it's called, has to be ensured. And because the operations of data centers is important. However, Google's engineer, they developed a custom interface for the AI system and managed to get this interactively, seamlessly with the existing cooling infrastructure, and did a lot of testing before launching. For me, really good combination, once again, about AI and human, so human AI workforce, future directions and innovations. To build on this success of the AI-driven cooling systems, Google plans to expand to use AI in other areas of data center operations. Energy procurement, load balancing. This might be words that are strange to you, but these are really important factors when it comes to leveraging what we have today. By doing this, Google is exploring the potential of using predictive analytics. Predictive means basically looking to the future, what could potentially happen, and then planning for that. And that will most likely, as we already have seen, increase the efficiency not only of cooling systems, but also overall data center energy management.
Very good. And I think that brings us to the next question that Noah had. And we're talking about what is the human level impact of AI. But let's bring her back and answer that question.
Julian, how are companies managing the balance between AI implementation and human employment, especially in sensitive sectors?
Yeah, in that case, I will come back to the time when horses were the primary mode of transportation. Horses were deeply integrating into daily life, pulling carriage, farming, and even serving in the military, right? But when the car came, it revolutionized how we travel, how we making everything faster and more efficient. At first, there was fear that this new technology would eliminate jobs. After all, the horses and the people who cared for them had been essential for centuries, right? However, over time, we saw that the introduction of car didn't wipe up all the jobs related to transportation. It simply shifted the focus. Mechanics, drivers, and even car manufacturers emerged. And humans adapt by finding new roles in this evolving landscape. Eventually, we upgrade the skill of the workforce and letting them being more productive in that world. Today, we are at the similar crossroad with AI, right? AI is a complement, to human in their role, just as car didn't reply the need for skilled workers. AI is being integrated to automate repetitive tasks while leaving the more creative and decision-making aspect to human. In sectors like healthcare, education, and customer services, AI is freeing up employees to focus on what truly require human insight. But somehow, we need to upskill and reskill the workforce, much like how people adapt for the rise of automobile by learning new skills. Companies are now focusing on training employees to work alongside AI. And I think that what you shared earlier, Mike, the AI won't replace the workforce. It will just make them way more efficient, leveraging the technology. And that will be ensuring that they can handle more sophisticated and value added role in the society and in their company. But in another hand, we focus on productivity and fairness today. While car made transportation faster, AI promise to do the same for businesses, right? Driving efficiency and growth, all while ensuring fairness by supporting workers in more meaningful jobs. It is also the case in the sensitive sector. The car have transformed transportation, but did not replace the need for driver or mechanics. AI is enhancing industry like healthcare, while it improved decision making and outcome, but the human touch remain irreplaceable, especially in area that is requiring empathy and critical thinking, while the AI is absolutely not ready for that yet. We still going to have AI that is supporting the human expertise. The real power of AI, much like the car, is in how we can complement and augment human skill without replacing them. AI support and enhance human expertise, enabling employees to focus on tasks that require creativity, empathy, and complex problem solving. Eventually, we are at the same transition when our grandparents moved from horses to cars. Now we are AI that is creating new opportunities. It's not about replacing human, but enhancing our abilities and guiding us to a future where technology works with human.
In my opinion, that was a really great answer. And I really like the analogy. I also use the car analogy a lot because honestly, we can talk about AI and we talk about AI as a name, but AI is a machine, it's a tool. And once upon a time, we didn't have cars. And then we started using cars. Why do we use a car? Why don't we run or walk? It takes more time and you get more sweaty. That's just the case. That's just how it is. It's not a strange thing. It's just use the machines for what they do best and use humans for what we do best. And you already mentioned that. What is the best thing that a machine can do? Usually that is the repetitive tasks. That is the task that doesn't really require creative thinking or critical analysis or anything like that. It's more, okay, let's do it. Let's machine do that because they do it easier, faster, and quicker and more consistent than we do. If you talk about sales mind in terms of outreach, if you want to do consistent outreach, it's better to have a machine do it. If you talk about solutions that GoPartnering provide to businesses to enhance their business, it's the same thing. Let the machine do what they do best and let humans do what they do best. In this case, that means being the creative partner, being the one that comes up with these genius ideas and then train to become the AI coach, as I call it, basically the instructor to the AI.
True. And I get that fear sometimes of prospect or people I'm talking with. What if I cannot control the AI, I am not good or whatever, right? And I think that analogy again, and I'm telling, okay, imagine you're a logistic company and then the car is coming and you're still with your houses. How are you going to compete with people who actually use machine now? You won't be able. If today you're not leveraging the AI, is if you stick with the horses while people have like cars and truck, will be really challenging.
Yeah, and to follow up on that also, I have to say that I do understand that there are cautions out there whenever I speak to business leader, business executives. And I'm going to mention examples, no name here, because I want to keep everybody as private as possible. But I'm going to mention a client that I have, and he has 7 technology companies currently running as a serial entrepreneur. And it took a long time for him to express this to me. He expressed that he has a fear of AI. And I was like, really? What do you mean? What is the fear at this point in time? And then he told me one thing that really struck a chord on me, which I truly understand. He said, I know how to manage people. I've been doing that for a long time. I feel very secure in this level, but I'm not sure how to manage AI. I was like, here's the point. And that's why you're talking to me. I said, yes, thank you. Because this is what we do. That is what the people who actually are in the AI space that provides AI solutions, that is what we do. We have the ability to manage AI. And if you look at AI as your new team member, it requires a manager. Honestly, we have built a machine that we today call AI, which is more like a human. What is the number one thing that makes a human perform at top level?
The manager, right?
Exactly. Every human being, including if you're a leader, you also know this very well. And sometimes it can be quite lonely to be a leader. However, we all need someone to talk to. We actually need a coach, a manager, someone to exchange ideas with, at least. Right or wrong, we are not perfect. We're human beings. And actually, AI is not too far away. We have to understand that even though AI is capable of a lot, it still needs someone to steer the direction and hold the course so it actually performs the way we want it.
Would bring us to the next question about the champion of AI and the influence of it. Let me bring back Nora and
Yeah.
to answer the question.
Mike, can you profile a leader or company that has been pivotal in pushing the boundaries of what AI can achieve in the business world this year?
There is actually quite many companies pushing the boundaries. I would say that Google, again, is spearheading this vision. And I would mention the name Sundar Pichai. I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. I do know that his vision is about leveraging AI to democratize technology across various sectors. And basically, it's a commitment to making AI tools accessible and beneficial to all business. And he's also mentioning SMEs, small to medium enterprises. So what about 2024? We are closing in at the end of 24 now, but discussing specific AI tools and technologies from Google under his leadership, they emphasize those kind of in designing to support small businesses. That is his goal in this. The details, how these tools has helped in terms of customer relationship management, data analytics, automated marketing solutions, making high-tech solutions affordable and user-friendly for even smaller players. And of course, the impact of this is quite significant. Companies are using these type of things today through the AI-driven insights to quantify the impact, such as improved sales, reduced operational costs, or enhanced customer engagement and customer satisfaction. Really illustrates the benefits of AI tools today. Naturally, we have challenges and the solutions to that. Adoption barriers. We talk about that again. We talk about the fear of AI, which many times actually turns into maybe not the fear of AI becoming the Terminator, but more how do we actually manage AI, which is through people like me and Julian, who are the AI experts who can actually manage AI in the best possible way. We are facing the adoption of new technologies, which is still a little bit uncertain. We talk about limited budgets and sometimes not clear ROI at this point in time. And we are also looking at one perspective that is very highly noted today, and it's the lack of tech expertise. If you look at the history of technology evolution, when we started using statistics more and more in e-commerce and supermarkets, there were people who had been working with logistics and statistics for 20 years that could be easily adapted to the new part and make their contribution. However, in terms of AI, there are not many people that have a long-standing relationship and experience with AI. The lack of expertise and what we bring to the table is really what is needed today. And finally, we have a resistance to change. Yes, I do understand that. There is resistance to change, there is some fear, and also some doubt in terms of what it actually can bring to the table. That is why both me and Julian assist small to medium-sized businesses to overcome these hurdles. And starting with pilot projects, simplified tool interface, affordable pricing, to enhance customer support, training, lead generation, sales, and of course, providing that knowledge and expertise needed to actually perform the integration from a strategic level as a business executive. What about the future? If we talk about the future of advancements, and specifically in Google and Sundar Pichai's name, they are hinting about announcements for upcoming years. And the focus is definitely continued support for small business needs. And the long-term strategy for the development is speaking about sustainability. We talk about ethical AI usage. That's something we are very concerned about in terms of the privacy and ongoing innovation to support the economic growth across all business sizes. In my opinion, this is just the beginning.
All right. Very interesting. And I think we won't get rid of AI anytime soon anymore. So we really need to adapt into that technology and know how to use it. Do you think we need to get something like a driver license for using OpenAI or ChatGPT?
There's a lot we can say about this. And I think definitely they're already coming a lot of certifications. And I'm actually collaborating with a US-based company that is currently onboarding new employees into Microsoft by training them to learn the skills of a prompt engineer. Because when it comes down to speaking with an AI, we are talking about how do you speak to a machine? That's basically what we're talking about. How we've been speaking to machines over the years. We've been speaking with what we call code, which has been many different variations of code, but it's still a kind of a language. Now we have reached the level where AI is very accessible, quite affordable, and the language we can actually speak to the machine with is now English. What do you think about that, Julian?
I think we can speak in any different languages, not only English, but indeed it has been quite surprising the way how in a matter of a decade we have been able to make the machine start from understanding code to many different variations to now human language. And what I saw with Cloud is now is going to even be able to interact with what the human used to interact with, eventually the computer and the interfaces. Right? So before it was really complex for the AI to understand the UI of an application, for example. And this is another kind of language when you use an application, but this is new to this, right? Now it is also available for the AI then to handle that. It getting more and more intelligent and in a way that we really need to learn how to leverage it. I see some people, they still do not leverage it enough. And even in my team, when sometimes I see that some of my collaborators, they have difficulty. And I go through that with them. I understand the problem. I identify what is the need in their problem. And we go together on the AI, what they are using, ChatGPT, because we found that one really interesting, especially with the new model and producing and so on. And then we do again everything. But I think there are questions that we going to get through after, and what are the steps we need to take in actually making the AI effective into the organization. Let me build back Laura.
Julian, could you walk us through a 5-step process that businesses can use to integrate AI into their decision-making frameworks effectively?
Yeah. So eventually, this is for the processes and also for the role that you currently have. When we start to looking for where we can implement that, we go first of all into the calendar. What are the tasks that you have done last week? Where did we found that there were a struggle? What are the area within the business where AI can add value. All right. To analyze the current process and challenges, we go through various departments: sales, marketing, customer services, and operation, and we look for repetitive tasks and the ones that are data driven to make decision out of that. And then we also look at the complex decision making process. And then, for example, it could be as simple as a retail company may identify that forecasting demand for product could be greatly improved by using AI to predict customer behavior. We take the entire list they have about their sales and their inventory, and we leverage that in the model to identify what are where customer need and what will be the implementation needed in the shop to actually provide all the things, all the products to your customer. And then we start integrating into the existing workflow. We're not creating new workflow. All right. So the goal will be to incorporate AI into the current system, not creating again from scratch. We choose the AI technologies that align with the business goal, such as machine learning or NLP for customer chat or for data analysis and stuff. And we work with the internal team or external to ensure that the AI tools are compatible with the current infrastructure. This is where expert Mike is coming, because they are the one who have that knowledge to understand which model is the best performing for the company and the processes. For example, a company could integrate an AI-powered system to automate the customer follow-up email and enhance lead generation effort. Eventually, we could ask the AI to schedule the next time when we need to follow up with that person based on the conversation. And then he will prepare an email to follow up according to the previous conversation we had at the right time. And then obviously this is only the beginning. Next going to be optimization, where we update and fine tune the AI model into the new data that we get and become available and according to the business change as well. Then we evaluate, we measure what have been the AI impact and effectiveness. The goal will be to assess how well the AI is improving this decision making in the business and in the business outcome. Once everything is set up, now this is the time to set clear metrics and measure the impact in efficiency improvement, cost reduction, revenue growth, or whatever. And then when you have those metrics and you know how to access the result, you use A/B testing. You test different things to try affecting at the same level. And then at the end of the day, you will have two different results and you will need to keep only the best performing one to judge the effectiveness of the AI team in the real world scenario. For example, a marketing team will measure the success of AI-driven campaigns by tracking customer engagement and conversion rate. Different messages, either you have one proposition here, or either you have a follow-up email that is sent automatically with AI, you will see what is the conversion rate you have with both methods, and you will need to choose the one that have the best result, right? And then as soon as you figured out how the AI could actually make the process much more efficient, this is where you scale and you start using across various departments and implement into low business functions. A guide will be you identify the area for AI integration, you start to integrate into the current workflow, you optimize with the data that you get, you evaluate, and then you scale.
All right.
All
I
right.
appreciate that very much. That's really a good summary of what is needed for a business and the steps to take. AI implementation or adoption doesn't have to be a huge endeavor. It can actually be something that you can do in a step-by-step case and utilize AI in the best possible way. And I know that it might sound daunting to venture into the space for some businesses. But if you are a business executive and you've been around for a couple of years, you might recall that once upon a time you were starting a business. You were the pioneer. You were the one holding the sword at the front line. And you got to embrace that spirit a little bit. You got to be that pioneer, the one that takes these steps without exactly knowing what's happening. But if you don't do it, I believe there will be big challenges ahead. Because just as you say, Julian, if you don't use a car today, if you run instead, you will make it. But it will be difficult to make it in the same time as most other people.
True. I would like to have your point of view on the way how AI could be implemented into businesses. What would you add for businesses to actually successfully add that layer of intelligence into their organization?
It depends really much on which business we are talking about or which niche we are talking about. Because at the end of the day, a business is meant to support the clients. That is like the holy grail. If the business doesn't support the client, it doesn't really matter. The first thing I look into when a business is approaching me for AI implementation or say integration, because it's always an integration, it's the human AI factor. The first thing I look into is how is your business actually working today? Do you have SOPs? Do you know what kind of process you're currently using to accomplish what you deliver and what you provide to your clients? Because when we establish that, then you have the baseline for where AI will make the most significant impact and actually do the job well. Because as we've been saying before, AI is like a teenager. It can do really great, but it has to get really good instructions. By doing this strategy enhancement, which I actually provide as a free consultation for certain companies, it means that we actually uncover where AI can be used in a very efficient way. Talk about real concrete examples, naturally customer support. That's a baseline of every company. Why do you have phone lines that are blocked by people asking questions all the time instead of using an AI, even with voice today, that can answer the most common questions that your customer might have, either through chat, email, or phone? Because honestly, we have to understand that customer support is a crucial variable for businesses. To have a really good customer support or customer success, that is what makes and break your company many times. However, it does take a lot of time, a lot of energy. That is one of the first steps where I actually would absolutely recommend a company to start looking into. Secondly, what I would probably think about is lead generation. We're also talking about sales support in terms of how actually sales reps can train with an AI to become better at selling whatever they are doing. Thirdly, we are talking about onboarding and delivery. Onboarding can be really enhanced by AI in terms of how efficient and easy it is for you as a company to onboard a new client. And what is the deliverables? Are you supposed to deliver a report, maybe a statistics report at the end of the month? Why don't you utilize and leverage AI to actually give the customer the potential to create the report from the data? Instead of having someone spend many hours creating a report, the client doesn't like it, you have to redo it. There are many ways of doing this. I'm just mentioning a couple of ways that I think can be really significantly enhanced. That is what I recommend.
I have a quick question, just came in my mind around the last thing that you mentioned. I love that idea where you give the hour to the users, and
Yeah.
he can create his own dashboard or his own report to get the right data for him, instead of having someone that provide the same report for everyone, and then someone that this is not the question. How do you foresee that? Like it will be a kind of chart where the user could be, what was the sales that month, or what were the most interested people, or will that be something that comes up automatically based on the data, or how do you foresee that?
Hmm. I'm going to tell you about a real implementation. I was visiting Seven Peaks not so long ago in Bangkok. They had a really nice implementation from an e-commerce provider of analytics. You can say it's similar to ChatGPT. And if you're listening to this, you probably have used ChatGPT at one point in time, at least. Basically, you ask questions And in this case, the questions will then be using data, proprietary data, which of course is available for certain aspects, to then generate the answer to you. And the answer in this case would be a report that could be both text and visual and even audio sometimes. It is interactive. You can call it a chat. If you imagine what Google is today, for example, you search for something. Hey, I want to find 5 nice ducks that swim in an ocean. Okay, you can find that. But if you imagine Google enhanced by writing something, hey, I want a report from the sales and marketing department, how the metrics been doing in terms of lead generation, cost of acquisition, and what we closed this month. There you go. Here's the report. So that is how I see this evolution. We spend a lot of time producing documents and reports, which is great. We need to do that. And honestly, in terms of automation, I believe the first point of automation is doing it manually. I actually believe we should do it first ourselves if we haven't done it before, because then we learn the tips and tricks and then we can teach the how to do it. And that's how we develop the whole thing. Basically, by utilizing this way, we actually give the power back to the customer, and we also free up your business resources to do other things, to actually be more strategic. So basically, it's a win-win that definitely has proven to be extremely efficient and very customer centric, which means the customer success and the customer happiness has been rising to unforeseen levels.
Indeed. And I think that bring up the last question about what we can look at in the future with AI.
Mike, based on current trajectories, what are your predictions for AI advancements in the next 5 years and their potential societal impacts?
Well, Nora, that is one of the questions that many people are thinking about today. What's going to happen? Is AI going to take over? Are we going to have the matrix, or what are we going to see in the future? Everybody has a point of view, but personally, I believe what I'm running and what I'm emphasizing here in this world today is the human AI workforce. Is how do we actually combine the human expertise with the AI machine learning models? We have seen a massive growth. According to McKinsey, we had a 65% increase from 23 to 24 in usage of AI in businesses. 65% increase is quite a massive one. As we look forward, not just technical upgrade, but a transformational force across societal, economical, and environmental spaces. When you talk about this generative AI expansion, if you don't know what generative AI is, check out the other videos. You will find information about that. But when it comes to the advancements, we really see the revolutionizing in content creation, design, interactive interfaces like we talked about, many industries. Basically, most of the industries today, such as media, education, customer service, and so forth. Healthcare is definitely one of the big sectors that are already using AI and will most likely have more personalized medicine, advanced diagnostics tool, patient management systems, and so forth. The public sector is also reforming currently. Detailed predictions about AI roles is improving efficiency, transparency in government operations, and public records management and public service delivery. We talk about the societal impact here. What about employment? What about job creation? Are you going to lose your job? I guess it depends on what you're doing today. Do you know how to use AI or how to actually speak to AI? Then you have a good chance to continue be valuable as a human being in the future. The dual-edged impact of AI is, of course, jobs, prediction shifts in jobs, the types of job we're talking about, rather than just losses. What new roles will be created in AI management oversight? And I think that's a big one. The AI management oversight. That is what I call the human AI workforce, because working together with AI is a little bit different, but can definitely be done and is absolutely needed. Today we have HR, human resources. What is the future? HAI? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. We're talking about actually managing AI. And of course, the ethical and privacy considerations. We're talking about private AI in another video, and also that's one video that's really important because private AI is something that we're going to need in the future. to limit the risks of disclosing things that we do not want to disclose. The growing importance of ethical AI is something that is on focus today. And I would say that the transparency, the accountable, and the free from bias is something that we're working towards, especially in critical applications like law enforcement, decision making, and so on. We also have some high level of usage potential of AI in terms of climate change. By optimizing energy use in major industries, reducing greenhouse gas emission, and helping combat climate change is something that AI can definitely contribute with. We talk about monitoring and protecting, having AI as an oversight in terms of watching what's happening and alerting us when we human beings need to take certain actions to actually protect the biodiversity that we see today, tracking endangered species and their habits, for example. Naturally, we have education and training. And this is something I hold very dear to my heart because I love the education and training. I'm a certified coach, and I do love and see the absolute ability of AI today. I wouldn't say they are the top lecture professor. No, they're a little bit lower level. However, if you use an AI for personalized education, offering tailored learning experiences, we have a much different style and 24/7 availability. In terms of challenges, once again, and solutions, we have the regulatory developments. There will be a lot of evolutions in terms of the governance of AI's framework to ensure the technologies are responsible. And we also have the public perceptions and trust. Naturally, we need to be able to determine when are we speaking to an AI, when are we speaking to a human, and so forth. And I think that most companies that are serious in doing business today, they should not be hiding that they are using AI in certain aspects of their business. They should just embrace it and say, hey, we use AI for this, because that makes it transparent, it makes it trustworthy, and it builds also on the business going forward. We are talking about many areas. We are talking public, societal impacts, climate change, education, training, and the regulatory and governance oversight. A lot of these niches are using AI. Thank you.
Pretty much accurate. Again, we won't get rid of any AI-powered solution in the near future, and I expect all of them to be AI-powered and let us liberate directions. All right. I
For
think that
sure.
was the last question we had from the audience. Anything you wanted to discuss as a conclusion point?
I will leave you with one phrase. I say, lead boldly and run your business AI powered to free your time and mind for the future.
Wow. Very wise, very wise. All right.
What do you think,
So
Julian?
thank you.
What do you have to say as this final note of this podcast?
I would say that it has been very insightful. I learned a few things, even though we're expert. Um,
Yeah.
I live to learn every day. I'm doing the podcast that helping me to better understand the need of the people that I'm working with, but also to improve my skills and my vision about how the AI could actually help the businesses that we currently support with our software. I really appreciate all the insight that have been shared into the industry. I wish I have time to consume all of them and to get on top of the trend. But basically, if we do a podcast like that, is for making and educating our audience. I hope we can have that more regularly. If anyone in the audience that looking at that video have some topics, some questions that we could answer in the next episode, we'd be more than happy to bring that up.
In the description, you can find all the links that you need to all the information that we've been talking about. Sign up to receive the future updates of the podcast and provide your questions, because we are here to answer your questions to make you leverage AI in the best possible way for your business.
All right. Thank you, Michael. And
Thank you.
see you very soon.